The city of Paris in Lamar County, Texas, has a fascinating history as it relates to the themes of white supremacy flowing through the latter rain movement. Paris was the site of some of the most notorious lynchings in the United States. Even now, decades later, racial tensions result in the grisly deaths of African Americans, while white supremacy organizations provoke conflict and incite violence. In the late 19th century and early 20th century, several black Americans were dragged into the Paris Fairgrounds to be tortured and killed. Thousands of white spectators watched, sometimes cheering, as black men were dragged onto a scaffold, scalded with hot irons, and either burned to death or hanged. As of 2006, the town was still racially segregated and prided itself in its dark history. It called itself the best small town in Texas, while hate crimes, including homicide, go nearly unpunished. In some versions of William Branham's stage persona, Branham claimed that his family came from the family of a schoolteacher and she had a good education while being raised in Burkesville, Kentucky. Other versions of the stage persona, however, claimed that his mother was instead from Oklahoma and that her family had moved near Paris, Texas. The Paris connection could explain why Roy E. Davis chose to migrate to Jeffersonville, Indiana. Davis was from Lamar County, just outside of Paris, and he frequently returned to hold revivals in the city. His brother, the Reverend W. R. Davis, lived in Detroit, Texas, and joined Davis in the revivals in nearby cities. In the early 1930s, after having risen through the ranks as the second in command of the 1915 Ku Klux Klan under Colonel William Joseph Simmons, and after having started a white supremacy group with Simmons called the Knights of the Flaming Sword, Roy Davis planted the church in Jeffersonville that would eventually become the Branham Tabernacle. Joel Osteen, the pastor of Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas, was born in Paris, Texas. His father, John Osteen, who joined the latter rain revivals in the early 1950s, was also born in Paris. You can learn this and more on william-branham.org.